Well, hello everybody. Welcome to a wintry edition of Mark Goes Hiking. In this video, I want to cover a few items that I take in the winter that I never or very rarely take any other time of the year. So let's jump right in. Now in this video, I'm not going to be talking about clothes. That's a give me. I'm going to take a hat. I'm going to take a puffy coat. I'm going to take gloves, things of that nature. However, in that realm of clothes, something that some people might not think of, unless you live in the Midwest perhaps, is taking a, can't really see it, but one of these muffs that you tie around your waist and you can put your hands into. That's a great way to keep your hands free, but also have a really warm spot to put your hands. You could throw a hand warmer in there or not, and it'll really warm your hands up very effectively. It's also a nice option in the evening or at night when you're sleeping. You can use it as a pillow. You can stuff your puffy coat right into that muff and it serves as a pillow. So you can still practice some kind of quote unquote ultralight principles in the winter time. Second item I want to talk about is a Silky Saw. Now this is the big one, not one of the small little guys, but it's the big boy, they call it. In the winter time, it's kind of a pain to find sticks because they're typically covered by snow on the ground. And so now what you're looking for is some larger deadfall. And so I take the Silky big boy to help with starting fires in the wintertime. The second option, right in line with the Silky Saw that I take, this is primarily for processing wood or other wood-related tasks, and that is a Mora Knife. The reason I take a Mora Knife is because they're quite inexpensive and you can beat the crap out of these things. Surprisingly, the steel is remarkably strong, and even if I do happen to damage the steel a little bit, it's cheap enough where I'm really not that concerned about it. Now, this has been on a few trips with me. Steel is still spot on. I can still put a nice edge on this. I have not dented or put any divots or anything on the edge. This thing batons very, very nicely. That might change if I start batoning some harder woods, I'm not sure. But again, the price is right. This is not a big deal if I do. Okay, I still have a pocket knife for small needs, you know, where I might need something extremely sharp. If this gets a little dulled or a little chipped, not the end of the world. The next option that I want to highlight is, well, I guess this is in the line of clothes as well, but instead of shoes, I wear boots. So I do wear a pair of Vasque hiking boots in the wintertime. And then what I take along with those, because it can get very slippery in Michigan on the trails in the wintertime, is I take a rubbery pair of these slip-on, I don't know what you call them, but these little grips, right? They got the little pegs on here, the little metal posts. I've used these one winter and they're not worn down too bad at all, which is really nice. This will save you from breaking arms or screwing up your knees when you're on the trail. I can't believe the difference that these have made. Can't believe I didn't get them before last winter. Also surprised I haven't broken anything before last winter, but these are a lifesaver on the trail. The cool thing is if there's a lot of snow or the trail is cleared, you can pull these off very easily and you can put them on very easily. You don't have to stop, you're not binding anything, you just slip them on. So very, very helpful. The next item I want to highlight is more in the realm of comfort, more in the realm of sleep. Now, I have moved even in my winter backpacking now to a hammock setup in the wintertime. My underquilt goes to 30 degrees. That's not very cold, but I did find a way to lessen that number, to lower that number, that temperature rating. There's two ways. One, you can use your underquilt and then also use a sleeping pad in your hammock. That works really well. I also like this Get Out Gear down puffy blanket. This weighs 16 or 17 ounces. It's filled, I think, with 650 down. It's a good size, it almost covers you. The thing I like about this is the versatility of it. I can use this to bulk up my underquilt. I could use this to bulk up my top quilt. I can also use it when I get out of my hammock and you know, you wake up, you're cold, you can put your coat on, all that type of stuff, but you're still chilly. You've got that morning kind of frigid air that hits you and you haven't totally warm up, the blood's not flowing, and you can throw this right over It's got 3 buttons that you could tie on, so it becomes essentially a down poncho. I've used this before the snow. I'm using it in the snow, and my daughter has used it as well, so she wasn't cold. So this has become a very versatile piece of gear. They're a little pricey, $69.95 I want to say, but I do think the versatility of this piece of gear is definitely worth it. You can use it at home as well. It's a good thing to keep in the back of your vehicle in the wintertime as well for emergency purposes. Really all of this gear is, but a lot of versatility in this little puffy down. So that is something that is coming with me this year as well for the first time. A couple other keep warm items that I take with me in the wintertime, and I've always taken this with me, is I do take some Espy cubes. Now, if you notice, I have them wrapped in aluminum foil and then in a Ziploc bag, because let's face it, they are stinky. Even the UST brands are a little stinky, but the Espy cubes are really stinky. This is really good for emergency needs, right? If you run out of fuel for cooking and you do need to warm something up, heat some water, boil water, make some food. I do like this option as a backup option in the wintertime. I a little bit take the philosophy in the winter of 2 is 1, 1 is none on a couple things, primarily fire. Here's the other thing I like these for. When you want to start a fire in the wintertime, kind of a pain, these make it really easy. These burn for 10 to 15 minutes, and the UST ones do for sure. I'm not sure on the Espy cubes, but that's a great way to get a fire going. It's actually pretty foolproof. So that's why I take these with me in the wintertime as well. Also, as an emergency, or if it just gets really cold at night when you're sleeping, for some odd reason you get cold, I guess that would be an emergency when you're out in the middle of the woods and you get too cold. I do carry hand warmers, 1 for each night. I'm not too worried about it during the day, because with the muff and the clothes that I take, I'm going to stay warm during the day. I'm not worried about that. But at night, you do not want to get cold. That could mess up your whole next day, and it can be dangerous. So this is the adhesive kind. It says it lasts up to 12 hours. I think it actually does last up to 12 hours. I've never had one of these fail. I've had the hand warmers and the toe warmers fail, but these adhesive ones, and I put it just like the picture. I put it right on my chest, and I've never had one not work. I've even had ones that are expired work just fine. So I keep one of these in my pack for every night that I will be on trail. And if it's gonna be really cold, or if I'm gonna go further distances, I will pack an extra one as well. 2 is 1, 1 is none type of philosophy, kind of a just in case scenario. When you're dealing with cold, I think that's smart to do. I have one more item I want to highlight in this. I have a pair of waterproof pants. These do not come with me hardly at all in the warmer weather. But in the wintertime, I don't take these for warmth. I don't take these for rain, because it's not gonna rain in Michigan in the wintertime, most of the time. I take these to stay dry. So when I'm at camp and I'm processing wood, or for whatever reason, this will keep my pants dry, which will in turn keep me warm. So I take a pair of these Mountain Warehouse rain pants to stay dry. That simple. What rain pants are supposed to do, but I do it so the snow doesn't soak into whatever I'm wearing on my legs, whether that's leggings and shorts or whether that's a pair of hiking pants. Those keep me dry, so that's really awesome. Well, that sums up the highlighted gear for me that I take in the wintertime that's different than my summertime. I'd like to hear in the comments below, what do you take that's different in the wintertime? I'm always curious to see what people take versus what they don't take, especially when it gets cold, because that really changes up your setups. Anyway, thanks for viewing, and see you on the next video.